The U.S. Supreme Court dropped the case from Texas, causing outrage among Texans. This is relevant coverage from the NBC. Supreme Court rejected Texas' effort to overturn election in fatal blow to Trump's legal blitz in Stop Biden. And in the report, they say that President Donald Trump called the case the big one, and 126 of the 196 Republicans in the House urged the court to take it, but the justice acted quickly to turn it down. NBC News also cited the actual verdict explaining why the Texas lawsuit was dismissed. Texas has not demonstrated a judicially cognizable interest in the manner in which other states conduct its elections. That means Texas has no legal authority to file lawsuit against other states, and legal issues across the multiple states can be judged by Supreme Court. But in this case, it is difficult to say that Texas has enough interest or position to bring trial on other states' election. But there was a reporter from CBS, Catherine Herridge, who had a slightly different argument in this issue. She explained why the Supreme Court decision was unconstitutional, directly addressing Article 3, Section 2, Clause 1, which the Supreme Court cited while rejecting the lawsuit. Clause 1 of Section 2 describes the extent to which judicial authority can be exerted, especially in the jurisdiction of the first instance. First, to the controversies to which the United States shall be a party. Second, to controversies between two or more states. Third, between a state and citizens of another state. Fourth, between citizens of different states. Fifth, between citizens of the same state claiming land under grants of different states. It is a constitutional provision and clauses according to which, in this case, the power of the judiciary could have been applied. She then analyzed that the Texas state lawsuit had full legal rights. In the end, one side stated that the lawsuit was denied because every state at the Supreme Court must do it in person, and the other side stated that the Supreme Court should accept the Texas case. But in the end, the Supreme Court dismissed the Texas case, which only made Texas people angry. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who previously filed a lawsuit, strongly protested against the decision. In a statement, he said it was unfortunate that the Supreme Court simply dismissed the case and failed to determine whether the four swing states were complying with federal and state electoral laws. Texas Congressman Kyle Biedermann said that the state would vote on whether to leave the federal government of the United States. Kyle Biedermann announced that the federal government has already lost control and does not represent the value of the people of Texas, and that he will propose a referendum to the Congress. And he said that if the Congress accepts it, he added that Texas may leave the federal government as an independent state. Kyle Biedermann's referendum is supported by the Texas Nationalist Movement. The group led by Daniel Miller has been campaigning for Texas independence for 20 years. Daniel Miller noted that Texas residents no longer want to live under federal laws passed by officials who did not elected by us. Also, they say that if we stack up the federal laws and regulations here, the federal laws files would be taller than the 173.7-meter memorial in San Jacinto, Texas. This is the tallest monument in the U.S. and represents the victory of the Texas in the American Revolutionary War. Texas was originally owned by Mexico, but on April 21, 1836, General Sam Houston, the governor of Tennessee, ordered the Texas Army to defeat the Mexican dictator Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. And in September of that year, he built the Republic of Texas and became its first president. He later joined the United States in 1845 to become the 28th state in the United States. Texas public sentiment is tending now a new world of independence to restore the true independence of Texas. The purpose of the referendum is to get out of the new U.S. coalition that would come into being, just as Texas would get out of or break free from the Mexican dictatorship. Texas is one of the richest states in the United States and also has independent troops armies. They have the Texas Army National Guard, the Texas Air National Guard, and the Texas State Guard. These units do not report to the president but reports directly to the governor of Texas. Texas, with a cowboy temperament, has a strong constitutional commitment and has fought a war of independence with Mexico in the past because Mexico violated the Constitution. The Texas case against the Supreme Court was a part of the campaign to protect the Constitution but was rejected. This provoked the heated reactions of the Texan public, so that everyone is now watching closely their reaction. In the meantime, the Hunter Biden scandal was initially thrown under the table by the mainstream media, is now being brought out and carefully examined. Fox News' Tucker Carlson criticized of their report.
We just showed you the first 20 minutes of our interview a few hours ago with Tony Bobulinski, well-known international businessman who was asked by the Biden family to do business with them in China. He met with the former Vice President Joe Biden 2 separate times, and they talked about the China business deal. Now, this information has been out for several weeks. It's been in the hands of a number of different news organizations. The reason you're hearing a lot of this for the first time tonight on this show is because they have resolutely ignored it and tried to suppress the story. Joe Biden has rarely been asked about it, though there is an enormous amount of detail and documentation that no one has refuted because it's real. This topic did come up because the president pushed it at last week's presidential debate. And what was notable was that Joe Biden didn't deny any specifics about his connections to the Chinese Communist Party, his family doing business there, he himself participating in that business.
He criticized the mainstream media for deliberately brushing the Hunter Biden scandal under the table in order not to let Joe Biden run over eggshells, despite the Hunter Biden scandal would have been a blockbuster news related to Communist China. The role of the media is not to report what they have already judged for the people, or only publish censored reports, but they should report the circumstances and the facts that are given. The Hunter Biden scandal has long been a secret topic of Attorney General William Barr and the FBI. Every year, The Time and American Weekly magazine choose the Person of the Year for their coverage. And especially in the presidential election year, they published the picture of the president-elect as the Person of the Year. In 2000 and 2004, George W. Bush was on the cover. In 2008 and 2012, Barack Obama graced the cover. And in 2016, it was President Trump who was featured on the cover. The Time now published the Person of the Year of 2020 on the cover of their magazine. Mainstream media were already reporting that Biden is the newly elected president, so it was expected that Biden would be on the cover. But the cover of the issue, the Person of the Year 2020, turned out differently than expected. It was different from all covers that have ever been published before. All presidents in the history of this cover have been photographed alone so far, but in 2020, Biden was photographed with Kamala Harris. Why did Time magazine change its tradition and publish a cover that shows Kamala Harris with Biden and not just Biden alone? What do you think of these situations? Thanks for your watching. Your likes, also comments. Be safe.